We're doing NFL player props here on PrizePicks for Thursday Night Football, September 22nd, Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. Before I get started, there's a link in the description below to sign up for PrizePicks, or you can use code TUFF to sign up. They will match 100% of your first deposit. There's also a free Discord link in the description, as well as a Patreon link where I give all my bonus plays, or all my plays that I'm making that given day for each sport: NFL, MLB, college football, and NBA starting very, very soon. So go ahead and check that link out in the description. We're giving two total player props that I like from this game. Again, I'm not a gambling expert. This is not gambling advice. These are simply just plays I'm personally looking at making. Again, giving you guys some insight and analysis to help you guys make your own plays. But let's get into it, you guys. Like I said, Steelers versus Browns. This game, both these teams, in my opinion, are extremely unpredictable. Both these teams do not have elite quarterbacks. Both these teams have what on paper looks like good defenses. Haven't really shown that earlier this season. And yeah, just overall, I mean, I just feel like this is a tough matchup here to predict as far as player props go. 38.5 is the line, which is honestly kind of disgusting in my opinion. I mean, it makes sense that it's 38.5, but as far as just betting and us betting on offensive player props, it's really tough at 38.5 to really get excited about this game, in my opinion. But nonetheless, we're gonna try to make do with what we have. We're given two total player props that I do like. Like I said, two teams that are extremely unpredictable, two teams that both of these offenses can get extremely stagnant at times. I would say both these offenses have good wide receiving rooms, good running back rooms, quarterbacks not so great. And then obviously this is a rivalry matchup as well. Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. Both these teams go back to even the Myles Garrett, Mason Rudolph helmet hitting incident that happened a few years ago. But let's get into it, you guys. Hopefully this is a good game, right? Hopefully this is a good game, just as NFL fans and for us that do bet on the NFL. Hopefully this is a good, exciting, close game with some points being scored. Hopefully there's not a lot of turnovers either. But let's get into it, you guys. Two total player props that I like. Again, line is set at 38.5, so just keep that in mind. This line 38.5 right now at the time of this video. Getting this video out earlier than I normally do. I feel like just the earlier the better before these lines do bump. We've already seen a few lines bump, but let's go. The first one is going to be a rush attempts here, and I'm going to take Najee Harris over 13.5 rush attempts. Now, 13.5 is an interesting line for a player like Najee Harris, which when he got drafted in all of last season was, you consider him a consensus bell cow back. For instance, like Nick Chubb at 16, you see players like Derrick Henry, their line on PrizePicks has been like 20, 21, 20.5 on PrizePicks as far as rush attempts go. But Najee Harris here, if you date back, let's just look at his 2 games this season, right? This year, he's got 15 carries against New England in their most recent game, which they lost 17-14. He had 15 carries for 49 yards, averaging 3.3 yards a carry. And in that first game against Cincinnati, overtime game, he only had 10 carries for 23 yards, 2.3 yards a carry. So not really seeing the success we're used to seeing or we're hoping to see from Najee Harris. I just think that offensive line for the Steelers is pretty depleted here. But what I like here about Najee Harris is that in this game, more specifically at 13.5 being the prop, obviously Cleveland's going to run the ball. They're going to feed Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Jacoby Brissett is probably going to get some designated quarterback rushes as well. So I think Steelers will probably want to match the rushing attempts, or just with the Browns trying to slow the game down by running the ball. I can see the Steelers trying to do the same thing. Obviously, they don't have a ton of confidence in Mitch Trubisky in this game. But looking at Najee Harris, last season, when of course different quarterback, but still the same offensive system nonetheless. In these 2 games against Cleveland, right, January 3rd of last year versus Cleveland Browns, he had 28 carries for 188 yards. All right, and then the game before that at Cleveland, he had 26 carries for 91 yards. So in both those games against Cleveland, 28 carries and 26 carries. His 2 season high games, career high, I guess, is against Cleveland as far as rush attempts go. And then also his second highest career high is against Cleveland as well. 26 and 28 carries, respectively, both games last year against Cleveland. 188 yards rushing, also his career high he does have against Cleveland as well. And I just think it's a great spot for him. 13.5 rush attempts seems low. I mean, if you hadn't looked at his game log for, what has gone on already these first 2 weeks of the season, you would like it a lot at 13.5. So that's what I'm doing here. I like Najee Harris. has had 28 carries and 26 carries last season against the Cleveland Browns. I like the over here on this one for Najee, over 13.5 rush attempts. And then the next one is going to be receptions, and we're going to go Amari Cooper over 4. I like this Amari Cooper. He had, in his most recent game against the Jets, he had 10 targets and 9 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown. I was honestly, even dating back to last season when he was on the Dallas Cowboys, like that game he had was probably one of his best games. Like aside from this 122 in a tub game here against Minnesota last year, that's like one of his best games in his last 2 seasons, right? That Amari Cooper just has. Now we know Amari Cooper can be inconsistent, and I don't necessarily think that's always been on him. I think Dallas, obviously, got traded. He was, in and out of the lineup last year because of COVID and things like that. But we know the talent is there. We know he's an elite level wide receiver talent-wise. 4 receptions for a player like Amari Cooper coming off a game where he had 10 targets and 9 catches. I think this is kind of low. I think this has a chance to bump here. I also like this play because Pittsburgh has actually been getting cooked by other teams' wide receiver ones. You can see here last week against New England, Nelson Aguilar and Jacoby Myers. Well, Jacoby Myers is essentially the wide receiver one in that offense. He had 13 targets and 9 catches. Nelson Aguilar had 6 catches for under 10 yards. So both those guys cooked. And then also Jamar Chase had a great game against the Steelers as well. 10 catches for 129 yards and 16 targets. So 4 targets currently for Amari Cooper. When we've seen both games that the Steelers have played defensively, really giving up a ton of catches, 2 wide receiver ones in that offense. I like the over here on this one for Amari Cooper. Over 4 receptions. Also, the play action for the Browns has been working. We saw it in the Jets game. Nick Chubb has been running the ball extremely well in these first 2 weeks. So I expect, a lot of play action. Amari Cooper open in some single coverage because the Browns will probably have to load the box. I mean, the Steelers will probably have to load the box against Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I like Amari Cooper over 4 catches in this game against Pittsburgh. So those are the 2 player props for this video. This video is a little bit longer, but I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. Again, provide some value for you guys. Check out the Discord link, Patreon link in the description. Also, sign up for PrizePicks link in the description as well. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like on this video, and as always, have a great day.